What's going on, everybody? It's the Franz, and we're here for AEW on TBS review for September the 14th, 2022, the week before Grandslam. The AEW World Tag Team titles are on the line tonight for Fuck It All against the Lucha Bros. The interim women's champion Athena take on a steaming pile of shit in Serena Deeb, and I got a rant for that because this I've had enough. But Tony Khan's piss poor booking of the women's division. I'm going to be in a rant here in a bit. And also the finals are set in the AEW World Championship Grand Slam Tournament of Champions as Semi-Gavar takes on John Moxley, and Danielson gets a rematch against Chris Jericho from All Out. And what was definitely much better than their All Out match by leaps and bounds. And a little bit more as well. So we start the show off with Semi-Gavar versus John Moxley. And it was a pretty good match. It was, of course, John Moxley and Semi-Gavar. Semi-Gavar, of course, I don't know why people hate Semi-Gavar so much. I know some people hate him, and a lot of people who hate Semi-Gavar are jealous of the fact that he's got a hot wife in Tay Mello, and they don't. They ain't Tay Mello's husband. That's why a lot of people hate him. It's just great old jealousy. The guy's good in the ring. He's getting better. He's still fucking young. He's in his 20s, is he not? He's still got 30 years he could be wrestling in the ring. He's gonna get better as things go on. Mistakes happen. I know things with him and Ruby Soho didn't go perfectly planned it all out. Things will get better as he goes, and he will be probably one of the best coming out of his career down the line. So people were hoping that Semi-Gavar was going to get bloodied. He was going to get his face punched in. He was going to get beat real quick. But this is John Moxley. He's not going to do that. He's going to get this guy time. And him and John Moxley went out there and had themselves a fight. Gavar goes for GTS, but Moxley plans and reverses that into a bulldog. Gavar tries to get out of it, so Moxley starts dropping elbow attacks, but his attempt for another lariat reversed into a Spanish fly, which looked fucking great. Anna Jay and Tay Mello come down, and what the fuck was Anna Jay's t-shirt she was wearing? She had a jacket on, she had underneath. It literally looked like it was a see-through. It was like a see-through-ish type t-shirt with like, it's like Jungle Boy or somebody took their hands and just touched where her chest is, and left more like had their hands painted, touched the chest, and that's what that was. That was weird looking. She distracts the referee. Tay Mello comes in and low blows John Moxley, and when I say low blow, I mean she got maybe the tip of her boots. So the tip of her boot to John Moxley. Semi-Gavar rolls up, gets a 2. Gavar then misses a senton attempt. Moxley goes for the pinfall himself, but doesn't work. They go strike for strike, but because Gavar hitting a knee strike and thrust kick. He attempts the GTH once more. John Moxley grabs him, and he hits the Death Rider for the 1, 2, 3. And John Moxley picks up the win. So that is part 1 of tonight's semifinals. Really good match to open the show. I just don't see why people, outside of the jealous losers, neckbeard, people who live in the basement who want to fawn over Tay Mello and her ass shots and everything. There's no reason to hate Semi-Gavar. Is he a perfect wrestler? Is he one of the best out there? No, he's a young guy. He's a young pillar. He's got years to go. Come back to me in about 10 years when he's been wrestling for 10 more years and got 10 more years of experience and tell me why you hate Semi-Gavar. Now, yes, in the whole grand scheme of things, if you look at the guy, he does have a very punchable face. But that's no reason to actually hate the guy. So commercial break, MJF comes out, and he's not happy. He tells them to cut the music, people were cheering him, and he's like, Albany, if I wanted to hear from you, I'd ask you, if I needed to hear from you, I'd ask for us, so keep your fucking fat faces shut. He says he hasn't slept in a week because last week John Moxley had the face with no fear, and that really pisses him off. He points out that he's not the same kid that he was when they first crossed paths. There's no podium. No MJF 2020 sign or anything. As you know, MJF was John Moxley's challenger in his first title run at All Out, where they had a stipulation that if John Moxley used the Death Rider in front of a referee, he would have lost the championship to MJF. Of course, this is around the time we also got Mark Sterling to show up in AEW as MJF's lawyer. But John Moxley, of course, beat MJF with the Death Rider after, the referee was distracted, and Yeah. He's former world champion in joke, says he isn't playing the character Moxley is. He read Moxley's book. He liked the bit about his childhood when he was raised like the crowd tonight. Uneducated white trash scumbags from the sticks. Says the fact that Moxley was bullied allowed him to put in on a front, and that worked. That worked and led to a great character being created, which is why the fans chant his name. He doesn't buy it, and MJF says Moxley is the same scared little boy, but now he's old enough to drown his issues in alcohol. He gives him credit for getting sober. He slayed his demons and defeated the disease, but he says his brain is far more dangerous. This is a message for Chris Jericho and Bryan Danielson. Obviously, he has to throw out those names too to make it seem like whoever wins the tournament is going to be taking him on, obviously probably at Full Gear. But let's be honest, it's John Moxley. It's going to be John Moxley versus MJF, and they can play off the fact that the last time these two wrestled for the title in 2020, John Moxley won, but he cheated. He got a loophole around the stipulation to win, so he take the vacation he planned as he wouldn't want to be winning his AEW World title, and once again pushes that it is his title. He says that when you came back, you talked about this demon that said everything that you earned is not yours, and it's going to take away everything that you've earned and your family, your fame, your fortune, everything. And MJF says he is that demon that will take everything from him, and he is a demon that you cannot slay. And he says the group helped him secure the chip at AEW All Out, and he reveals they are a stable on retainer that is led by his best friend that he's known since 19 years old. Introduces Stokely Hathaway and the Firm. Stokely comes down, the Firm come down as well. Stokely says he flew to meet MJF a few weeks ago, and MJF wanted to quit until he told him not to, as it is time to get what he wanted. He says that they are MJF support system while they get more opportunities for themselves, and he says when MJF doesn't need them, they will go their separate ways. He says he's just a friend with the connections to make anything happen. He says blackmail turns him on. He goes on through each member and puts them over. Gives W. Morrissey a hug, and because he loves him or whatever, and you could just see the look on Morrissey's face, like, dude, what the fuck are you touching me for? Don't touch me. Obviously, I guess he can do whatever he wants, and then he goes to Lee Moriarty. Lee Moriarty looks like he wants to go for the Pure Championship, so it's going to be interesting to see how they get to that. I'm sure we'll really see Lee Moriarty in Pure Rules matches on AEW Dark when they do the next set of tapings. The Guns, he says they're not boys, they are men. They don't want to hang on the fame of their broke-ass daddy. And then he says Ethan Page wants to show representation to his great country of Canada, which gets a massive set of boos in Albany, New York, and says he wants the All-Atlantic Championship, which is very interesting because we'll get to that here later. They all leave, and that is that. So, very interesting to see what they're doing with MJF. So, if MJF needs his buddies or he needs his friend and his friend's group, then they come together to be what is it? Not the Super Friends, but the Legion of Doom, or whatever the fuck their name was in the Super Friends cartoon back in the day. The Dungeon of Doom or whatever. Anyway, so before the show went on the air, we had on social, Jungle Boy signed a contract to an open challenge match tonight. Who was going to accept it? Didn't have to wait for the show started because they posted another video AEW did of Jay Lethal taking this challenge. This was a good fine match. They had themselves a good match here. Of course, Satnam Singh, and I'm really surprised Luchasaurus did not make an appearance at all during this match. The whole thing now with the fact that Christian Cage is going to be out for 8 months. He has the same exact injury as CM Punk. They both got surgery. They're both going to be out the same length of time. So it's like, goddamn. And that just, whatever they were going to do with him and Jungle Boy at Grand Slam or Full Gear is on the back burner. Because we won't see Christian Cage till All Out next year. So if they even go back to Christian Cage and Jungle Boy, it won't be another match until All Out of next year. Because Double or Nothing, I believe, will be up before then, right? It could be Double or Nothing, not sure. So they go back and forth with this match. Really good match here, like I said. The biggest story of this match was, of course, 10 days ago. Jungle Boy took I thought he was supposed to be Jungle Boy Jack Perry. when they advertised the match on social, AEW social page called him Jungle Boy Jack Perry, but when we get to the match, he's just Jungle Boy. So what the hell is going on? But the story of the match was Jungle Boy took the choke slam on the steel grate, the metal steel grate last week, 10 days ago. He had the kinesio tape on his back, so that was a target of Jay Lethal. He even tried to go for a brainbuster, Jungle Boy did, and wasn't able to because of the injury to his back towards the end of this match. He ends up hitting the big King Kong lariat, hits the brainbuster anyway, gets him in a snare trap. Jay Lethal gets out of that. Tries to do a submission himself, but then Jungle Boy gets another snare trap in, and Jay Lethal eventually taps out. And that was that. The thing didn't come in. Nobody tried to beat up Jungle Boy. Again, I'm really surprised we didn't get Luchasaurus coming down and beating up Jungle Boy after the fact. I thought that would have been something they would have done. We get a video package that shows Hook and Action Bronson training for the upcoming tag team match. Bronson says next week they will whip 2.0's ass. And yeah, what I like is the fact that Action Bronson is actually going into training and actually training to have a match. I don't know if Action Bronson actually wrestles, but if you actually somebody who is a wrestling fan and you like a celebrity and you want to come in and actually train and take the bumps and everything, fine by me. Should be interesting. It's on Rampage, so it's going to be taped. Then we see the pizza extraordinaire Luigi Primo in the back for fuck it all reasons. Flipping a pizza dough, Ethan Page takes him out only for Danhausen to appear. Page says he wants to be king of the Atlantic. So Friday, he might as well start with the Jester, a.k.a. Danhausen, and that match will happen on Friday. We get a video package of Darby Allin at a, I don't even know what the fucking thing was, doing stunts with a tricycle, because, okay. Apparently, Swerve was with him too because we saw him at the end, but that doesn't mean it. Matt Hardy showing the video package reacting to the recent stunts Darby did. He says he respects Allen, but he's looking to scratch his way back to the top. He's refocused in AEW. He actually mentioned, not by name, but he said that he respects Darby for the match he had with his brother. It was actually they showed highlight a spot from that match. So it's like, is Jeff Hardy on his way back? Because when somebody's suspended, the AEW is like persona non grata to them. They don't even exist. The Bucks haven't been mentioned in the Bucks, Omega, and CM Punk have not been mentioned in the last 2 weeks. So something tells me that Jeff Hardy might be on his way back because he was mentioned by his brother, not by name, just saying his brother, and they showed video clip of him and Darby Allin in a match. So that tells me that Jeff Hardy might be on his way back. I'm not sure. So he challenges him to a match on Rampage this Friday, being taped about now. Swerve and Glory versus the Lucha Bros. Spots of the coming up here in a bit. Powerhouse Hobbs took on Matt DiMartino, beat him in about 2 minutes, if that. Then gets the match and brags about how quickly he beat Ricky Starks. He says he was in the trenches for that guy for 21 months, but it was real simple to beat him. That chapter is closed. It's time to open a new chapter in the book of Hobbs. And Starks starts coming down the stairs. He's in black pants, black polo shirt, black sunglasses. He just starts walking down. The crowd was chanting, "We want Starks," when Hobbs got the mic. And when they saw Ricky Starks come down, the crowd just lit up and was cheering. Clearly, the 5-minute beatdown the 5-minute loss at All Out did not hurt Ricky Starks at all. So security comes down and is there trying to stop him. He fakes him out and gets in there and they start fighting. Ricky Starks gets the microphone, taps him on the head with it. That sends Hobbs out. And Ricky Starks, the final thing we see is Ricky Starks with staring dead down the middle of the thing, and I'm like, down the camera, and I'm like, yes. Next time these guys go one-on-one, probably at Full Gear, which I still think it should be Powerhouse Hobbs versus Wardlow at Full Gear, giving Wardlow his loss to get him out of the TNT title picks, because let's face it, they dropped the ball with his TNT title run. Give it to Hobbs. Hobbs goes on a dominating run up to Double or Nothing, where Ricky Starks gets the chance to take on Hobbs for the title at Double or Nothing. And Ricky Starks wins the TNT title, and we go from there. That's just me. Now we get the World Tag Team title match, the Lucha Bros versus the Swerve and Glory. Why this match was happening, I don't No, I guess you got to get one more win for the tag champs before they drop the straps next week. Man, I tell you what, people are like, oh well, it looks like Swerve and Glory would turn heel in Chicago. No, 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 no. Keith Lee still got some cheers, but Swerve, that motherfucker got booed mercilessly coming out. There's three things: death, taxes, and not interrupting Max Caster's rap, because you're gonna get booed to all hell, and that is what happened. Spot of the night and spot, I think, of the month is Keith Lee eating a Canadian destroyer from Penta El Zero Miedo. Holy shit, what a spot. Swerve and Glory pick up the win with a Big Bang Catastrophe. I don't know what they call it here, but it's Big Bang Catastrophe. To Phoenix, and that was that. They claimed to appear. Next week, they'll become tag champs. Of course, Max Caster said to Swerve, if you interrupt my rap again, I'm going to beat your ass. So that is going to be next week. After the match, we see Pac backstage as the Lucha Bros are being attended to and taken to the further on by Alex Abrahantes. He says that they are the Trios champions. He's the All-Atlantic champ, and they need to have respect on their names. All of a sudden, a punch out of nowhere, and I thought for a second it was Kip Sabian coming back for more. But it was Orange Cassidy, who says, double champ, not for long. So next week at Grandslam, it will be Orange Cassidy versus Pac for the All-Atlantic Championship. And it's kind of funny because you just had Ethan Page make his intentions clear for the All-Atlantic Championship. So I don't think Orange Cassidy wins. Ethan Page is a heel. Orange Cassidy, I mean, Pac's a babyface right now because he's with that triangle. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Serena Deeb in a steaming partnership versus Toni Storm and Athena. It's time to have a little bit of a fucking rant. So, we had this match here. When Toni Storm and Athena and Serena Deeb were in this match, fine match, everything's fine. What do you think happened at the end of this match? What do you think how Tony Khan booked this match? It was in the 9:20 to 9:30 spot. It was the death spot for the women. This is Tony Khan's favorite place to put the women. Who looked strong at the end of this match? Oh, was it the AEW Interim Women's World Champion? Fuck no. What happened? Dumb bitch Rebel gets on the fucking gets on the apron to distract the referee. The faker gets a chair up and so piss poorly gets it into the ring as slow as fucking Moses to get it into position so Serena Deeb can hit Toni Storm in the head with it. And then Britt Baker, still slow as Moses, gets that chair out of the ring and stands on the fucking apron as if everything's just fine. They get the pin. They get the win. Bullshit. I'm sorry. When John Moxley was your AEW Interim World Champion, would you have booked him in a tag team match to get cheated like this and have him get pinned by somebody for the fucking hell of it? No, you would not. So Tony Khan, here's a good fucking idea. How about you treat the women's championship just as good as the men's championship, you stupid motherfucker. I am sick and tired of you treating the women's division like shit. Britt Baker is not a be-all, end-all. She fucking sucks in the ring, on the mic. Get her off my fucking television. Give me a fucking break. You have Ruby Soho, Tay Mello, Anna Jay, Serena Deeb, Jamie Hayter, and many fucking women who are leagues than Britt Baker, and yet you still feed this bullshit to us week in and week out. Give me a fucking break. It is about time you get rid of this fucking dead weight. Jamie Hayter comes out. Oh, she grabs the chair from Britt Baker. What happens? She hits Toni Storm. Oh my God. Give me a fucking break. I'm not sick to death of how this division is treated. It's all about Britt Baker. It's all about Britt Baker. When you have Tay Mello doing absolutely fucking nothing. Forgive me, if I'm wrong. Didn't Tay Mello have the most matches in AEW last year for the women's division? Did she not wrestle the most matches last year? Had some absolute good matches on Dark Elevation, all these other fucking shows she was on. But yet, here she is now doing absolutely fucking nothing but being Semi-Gavar's wife. She deserves better. Anna Jay. What is Anna Jay doing? She's sitting there doing absolutely fucking nothing but being Tay Mello's best friend and just being a distraction for the Jericho Appreciation Society. What's Ruby Soho doing? Meaningless mixed tag team matches with Ortiz. Don't get me wrong. I like Ortiz. I like Ruby Soho. But why is she not fucking in the women's title picture? On top of that, Tony Khan, for whatever fucking reason, booked these 4 women in a fatal 4-way next week for the women's interim championship. I'm sorry. Why? Why is fucking Faker getting a championship match? Why is Athena getting a championship match? Serena Deeb pinned the women's world champion. When you had this tag team match a couple weeks ago, right before Battle of the Belts, and Jamie Hayter pinned Toni Storm, she got a one-on-one title match. Why are we getting a fatal 4-way? Are you that fucking lazy? So your precious Britt Baker can have a spot on Grandslam. Give me a fucking break. This is garbage. Absolutely garbage. I would love somebody in these journalists who are in these scrums get the balls to ask Tony Khan why the fuck he hates the women's division. Because it's all about one woman to him. Everyone just get scraps. You have done this to every single fucking woman. Riho made sense because that you couldn't use her that much because she was actually coming out of Japan and her main station was in Japan. Why you put the women's title on her, I don't know. Hell, when Shida was the women's champion in the pandemic era, you know how often we saw Hikaru Shida on TV? Very rarely, when yet we saw the fucking steaming pile of shit known as Britt Baker on TV week in and week out. And here we with somebody who has a good promo, is great in the fucking ring, as the interim women's world champion, had a decent match last week with Penelope Ford, and here we are again with the Faker, getting all the spotlight, standing tall, looking like the one person that you give a shit about. Are you fucking kidding me? Enough of the bullshit. Enough of holding the women's division back for your precious fucking dentist. It's time to change this shit. I want to see good professional wrestling for the women's division. I want to see stories be done. I want to see people actually get a chance out there to actually show you what they can do. Why is Hikaru Shida not there? You know why Hikaru Shida wasn't there this week and they had to change out the match? Because somebody backstage didn't realize that Hikaru Shida couldn't be here for the show because she's off to Japan to work for one of the Japanese promotions she works for. Yet, for some reason, you had to book the match. You had the match booked for some stupid fucking reason, and then you had to play up that Hikaru Shida got beat up last night on Dark. Which, again, you didn't even fucking show why that happened until they had a little clip of it during Athena and Toni Storm's promo before the match. This is fucking utterly ridiculous. It wouldn't surprise me if the Faker won the fucking interim championship, which, again, the title is absolutely worthless. It is absolutely fucking worthless. Toni Storm wins the interim title. She was supposed to be the women's world champion, but Thunder Rosa is injured and she can't fucking wrestle right now. She's eventually going to come back and drop the title. So fucking what? But the fact that you have her come out here and last week have a decent match, not going to complain, it was a fine match, and then tonight you have her get beat, and then all of a sudden everybody in the tag team match is in a fatal 4-way. Why isn't it going to be Toni Storm versus Serena Deeb? Because Serena Deeb got the tag team win. Why are you doing a fatal 4-way? Make it make fucking sense. Why, Tony Khan? Why do you hate the fucking women's division? Because quite clearly, if it's not your precious dentist, the steaming pile of shit known as Britt Baker, you don't seem to give a rat's ass about the women's division, and it's a fucking shame. Tony Khan, you have Ruby Soho on your roster, you have Athena on your roster, you have Tay Mello on your roster, you have, I don't know, Anna Jay. Yes, I know Chris Statlander is injured, but when she's there, she's fucking great. But yet, she hardly gets any fucking TV time. Why is it all about this one fucking bitch who's been taking and just holding the women's division down week in and week out? I don't give a shit who got signed to this company first. She fucking sucks. She's cringe on the mic. She can't even do a fucking sling blade that looks good. She can't even fucking, like that spot. She literally slid the fucking chair through the second and top rope for no fucking reason. All you had to do was take the chair over the top, let it get hit, and pull it back. But yet you had to do it the hard way because you can't do shit right. I am fucking sick and tired of this. I'm not the only one. I'm sick and tired of the same old bullshit for the women's division. Do better, Tony, you fucking piece of shit. You should be fucking ashamed of yourself. Rant over. And that's just plain water. I just want to see better for the women's division. I'm fucking sick of it. Moving on here. I believe... Main event, Danielson versus Chris Jericho for the winner to go on to face John Moxley the next week at Grandslam. This was way better than their all-out match. Of course, the all-out match had Danielson, the American Dragon, versus Lionheart Chris Jericho. So the Chris Jericho tried to stay in his Lionheart form for the majority of the match, and I think that brought that match down. With him being the Wizard, the Jericho Appreciation Society version of him, the current version of Chris Jericho, it made the match better. Now, there was a pivot in this match because the match was going great. They were going back and forth. Jericho flips Danielson out of the ring, and Danielson played it up as if he hurt his ankle. He's down. He's trying to hurt. He's like trying to take his shoe off. He's got wrestling shoes, not wrestling boots. Like, you know, I think like he has like these softer wrestling shoes on, and Taz, like said, he could have broke his ankle on this fall. The doctor's over there, they got the shoe off, they're checking it, and you're sitting there first off going, oh shit, did he really hurt himself? Then Chris Jericho goes over and grabs him and starts attacking. I'm like, oh no, it's just a work, he's fine. So they get in the ring, and Jericho's attacking that. He goes after him, he has him in a half Boston Crab. Danielson gets out of that, puts him in the figure 4, which would be harder to keep on because he doesn't have a boot on or a shoe on, so the grip's not as much there. Eventually, Danielson was able to get it into the label lock, and he's just cranking back, and eventually, and Jericho's just sitting there, and he's like taking in, then he eventually does tap out. Bryan Danielson picks up the win. He is going to Grandslam to take on Blackpool Combat Club member as well, John Moxley. Moxley comes out. They have a stare down. He's saying stuff to Danielson off screen, off mic, so he could have been saying anything, but Danielson, you can just see, has this look of determination in his eyes. They shake hands. Show goes off the air. Bullshit in the way they booked that. This show was fine. This show was good. I feel I definitely expect them to take a hit in the ratings. I mean, the biggest reason they stayed above 1 million, I think, last week, because it was the fallout for All Out and the fallout from everything that happened, and people wanted to see if you were going to see anything from Tony Khan when it came to everybody who was in that match or in that melee backstage. But yeah, overall, pretty decent show. The women's division is absolutely a disgrace, and I wanted to talk about the women's division, but until I start seeing change, there's really no reason to. But that is all for your AEW on TBS review. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, or dislike this video. Find me on Minds at the France Club, find me on twitch.tv/France Club, and find me on Instagram at the France Club. And I'll see you guys on Friday for SmackDown and Rampage. Until then, Minds at the France, and I'll see you guys later.